second day of the forum, the African leg of the World Economic Forum in Cape Town. Now, South Africa continues to market itself to dozens of international political and business leaders. We have Nompumelelo Siziba, who's been covering events there in Cape Town for us. And I mean, Nompu, thanks indeed. Good afternoon. It's all about revisiting the facts, finding out where Africa is, both on a social and political stage, and finding out what the economic environment is like for further growth. That's what we heard this morning. Good to see some of the delegates there. We just saw that moments ago, saying that they were somewhat impressed at the honesty of the leaders.
Yes, indeed. I think people are embracing this. They're looking at what's happened in the past 25 years, as you've said, and they're looking to learn from the mistakes and the successes so that the next 25 years can be much better. As you know, there's going to be an additional 1 billion people on the African continent in about 25 years' time, and half of that demographic is going to be the youth. And we desperately need to ensure that obviously there are opportunities for the youth, because there is very high unemployment among our youth, and policies need to be instituted now to ensure that the future is looking brighter. People are optimistic, but they're looking at the challenges. Some of the issues that are being looked at today include enabling markets, looking at issues like trade and the evolution of the internet. How do you best leverage those? Inspiring creativity. They're looking at areas like transforming the education system and a digital revolution in Africa. There's also a heading called marshalling resources. As we know, the African continent is heavily endowed with natural resources. How do you best leverage those resources and ensure that you get the best benefit from them? The real problem, as we have highlighted in the past couple of days, is that Africa is lacking in power. That's the first part. Once we get the power generation system going across the continent, issues around industrialization, issues around beneficiation of the minerals that are underground can actually begin to take the course. Later in the afternoon, we have the launch of an African competitiveness report, not the global report, just an African competitiveness report. This is key because this is one of the issues that lets Africa down because of lack of infrastructure, high production costs and so on. We do tend to lag behind our global peers, but we'll be looking to see who's where in the scheme of things on the African continent. These are some of the issues that are going to be looked at.
Now, Nompu, I would imagine to unlock some of the opportunities you speak about and that are tackled at the conference, access to finance is pivotal. You mentioned to me off air that you did speak to one of the executives at Barclays. I suppose another very thriving issue with the world economic, getting access to money to develop.
Well, yes, that is a critical issue, access to funding. And one of the issues that's being discussed right now is the deepening of African capital markets. And that just simply means African governments' abilities to access international bond markets so that when people borrow money, so when people basically lend African governments money through purchasing bonds, African governments can use those funds to plow into their economies to invest in things like infrastructure, which ultimately is the bedrock of development. Right. If we don't have infrastructure, then we can't get economic growth going.
Okay, no, sorry. We're going to have to cut you off there. We're running out of time. We will get more from you in our later bulletins. Nompumelelo Siziba there at the World Economic Forum in Cape Town.